3, 4. So I can't repeat too much. But I told you about a women's unit in Gatesville calling and wanting to do an all-day prayer conference, and asked me, and I called someone else, and we really thought and prayed about how we're going to talk about prayer all day long. And then I told you we ran out of time, and about 8 girls we had to stop, and they got saved. It was at a trustee camp. So everything that I say, because sometimes I'll go to an experience, a holy experience that I've seen God do, and so it's all Him. As of myself, I'm nothing. I'm allowed to see what He does. And so it's all glory be to God. As a matter of fact, I have to go ahead and probably confess this. I'm always telling Melba about it, that I have a great fear. I have a healthy fear of God. We should all have a healthy fear of God. You have a healthy fear of God? We should have a healthy fear of God. And but also I have an unhealthy fear of man. And so I have this fear of man because we have school teachers in here. And my grammar and things like that. So that's shocking, isn't it, Sister Debbie? But I do, and it doesn't matter if it was a small group or a couple of thousand. Brother Nolan had asked me, call me one time, the first time I ever met him, come to my house, Nolan Diaz in Cebu. And as we were passing through the first time in the year 2000, he said, would you be willing to preach at our church? And I'm just thinking, a little church in the Philippines, no problem. And I got there, and there was probably, Sunday morning, there's probably several thousand. And I said, Nolan, you should have warned me on this. So I nearly had a seizure. But the Lord, I depend on Him. And but the older I get, the harder it is for my dyslexia to straighten up and all of this. So I rely on Him. And where I used to say, now Jesus prayed for the apostles, and also He prayed for us and John. And I would say, John chapter 17. Is it 17, Pastor? You say he usually says you're preaching this. And so if I mess anyone up, just go and Pastor Paul straighten me out. So now you know how to pray for me. And I use this verse here a lot, and I didn't mark it, so that means I'm going to have to find it. And that's in 2 Timothy. You know where I'm going. 2 Timothy, I've been here many times. 2 Timothy chapter 1. There you go. Verse 7, the Word of God. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So that's what I'm operating on tonight. It's His power, and fear be gone. And a lot of the things that I have seen through ever since 1990, ever how long that is. Early in the ministry, I didn't know God would still do things that He does today. You know, God is the same yesterday and today and forever, tomorrow. And the churches that I grew up in, that my parents carried me to, I don't think the pastors thought God could do things today like He did back yonder. But we have seen God do things. And It's good to have, this is just advice. It's good advice. It's good to have several mentors. I'm dealing with people in the Philippines that has one mentor. And if you have one mentor, and that's the only mentor you have, I'm talking about a teacher that you read after, you don't read after no one else, then after about 3 years,